say welcome to everybody who's joining us here. I'm Reverend Jonathan Zenz. If you don't know me, I'm a high energy kind of person, so we're going to have a high energy kind of day and celebrate what we celebrate here, which essentially is we're here to celebrate love. So what do you say we engage in that today? Here to open us in song. Yes, you can applaud that. Yeah. Here to open us with our opening song today, please welcome our singer, our guest musician, our guest artist, the lovely Anna Mello.
All right, we ready to get up on our feet? Everyone, get up on your feet, let's go. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let's go. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Anna Mello joining us and opening us in song. So thank you so much, Anna. How are you feeling today? Anna, how are you feeling today? I was talking to them, but I was also talking to you.
I'm great. I'm energized. I need to breathe. Because
Yeah.
It makes me want to get up on my feet, and I'm like, you guys sing too.
Yeah, I get it. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to put this over. I'm going to put this over here, actually, because I know you're going to want it. You want that. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put that there. So once again, good morning. We're off the hook here today, as you can tell. Perhaps. I just want to say a beautiful morning to all of these beautiful humans that I see in front of me, and also to everyone who's joining us online. Once again, we are a spiritual community. We're here to teach practical tools and celebrate in a high-energy way this thing called life. Now, these practical tools are practical spiritual tools that we can put into practice in our lives, and that's the whole point and purpose for me of engaging in a spiritual path. I want to be able to use it, right? If we can't use it, then what's the point? It's lovely to think of some nice words and some, beautiful ideas, but if you are not actually utilizing them, then I don't think there's any point. So let's put some practical tools to use today. What do you say? All right. Now, you may not believe everything you hear today, but I think you will hear something that you do believe, and I believe that you are here on purpose. Even if somebody dragged you here for the first time, you're here on purpose. Because there's an inner purpose within each and every one of us that attracts to ourselves the experiences that are related to that purpose. So think about that today. We do carry with us and in our hearts at this particular spiritual community a vision and a mission statement, and I would love for all of you to share with me these words of our vision statement. We envision a world awakened to its magnificence, Now, the vision, as I always say, is how we see the world, and the mission is how we get there. So will you share these words of our mission with me? Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. If you're joining us for the first time today, I want to say thank you for being here. If you're joining us online, always grateful to have new people join us online in this virtual world that we're kind of experiencing. And if this is your first time, we would love to know that you've connected with us. If you go to unitytucson.com/connect, there's a way that you can fill out some information there and make that connection with us so that we can reach back out to you. And always grateful to have you share with us. If you're in the room and joining us for the first time today, if you are comfortable, and I always say this because I remember the first time I went to a spiritual center and they're like, "Oh, the new people stand up." And I was like, I don't feel comfortable standing up. So I always make it your choice. If you feel comfortable identifying yourself and would like to stand up so that we can spread some love to you and also give you a gift, if you're here for the first time, please do stand up. And here comes Ross with some gifts. And if you remain standing, there's some things that we have done in terms of research about you because we knew you were going to be here today. We did. We knew, and this community does its research, and so there's something that we would like to tell you. It is this. You ready, everyone? 1, 2, 3. You are magnificent. Yes, you are. Thank you so much for shining a light, sharing your magnificence, being here with us today. Hey, Ross. There's a woman in the very back who is here for the first time. She was standing, but I don't think, yeah. There you go. Thank you. Just want to make sure that everybody gets their gifts. Now, we know that you are magnificent, and I say we do our research. We know that you are magnificent because every single person that we encounter is inherently a reflection of some aspect of us, and I choose to recognize that aspect as the magnificence within. So let us all exclaim for ourselves, I am magnificent. I am magnificent. Now, I want us all to say it once again. I want you to really feel it. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I am magnificent. Doesn't that feel good? Yeah. So, we're changing it up. I know. Surprise, surprise. We are changing it up. I would like to invite our Keeper of the Flames to join me here on stage. Kathy Brandon is our Keeper of the Flames today, and she's going to help out with our Lighting the Flames of Faith ritual that we've adopted here. This ritual is a ritual that is intended to deepen us all into the understanding that the world traditions, the faith traditions of the world, are all rooted in one divine golden thread of love. And so for each candle that we light, that is what we are choosing to understand. So we first light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And we light a candle for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony, and for any seekers who may be unaware of the power and the presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we choose to keep open for them in our own hearts. This final candle we light is the healing candle, which represents the healing or the uncovering of the God essence at the core of all experiences, all circumstances. For that is how we teach healing within this particular philosophy, that it is the revelation of the divine energy at the core of all creation. And when we understand this, when we adopt this, we experience healing in the circumstantial world, in the physical world. And so this is your candle for whatever is in your mind and in your heart that requires the light. They're all expecting me to talk about the peace candle now, which I'm not going to do. At least those who are used to the way service unfolds. We're going to talk about the peace candle a little later. But I would like to talk to Kathy first. Come on down here. So, Kathy is nervous. Let's just call it out, right? I mean, not call it out, but let's just call it what it is. Are you nervous?
My stomach is fluttering, yes.
So that's okay. You're allowed to feel nerves. You know what? I love that feeling sometimes, though. And I always tell people the physiology of nervousness and excitement is the same. So I choose, when I feel nervous, I say, you know what? I can call it nervousness or I can call it excitement.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited that you're here today.
Oh, well, thank you.
So Kathy is one of our new keepers of the flames, and so this is her first time reflecting on the homework that I gave last week at the completion of my message. If you're new to our community, I offer homework every single week. That's how we put it into practice. That's a practical tool. Let me remind everyone what the homework was, and then I would love to hear how you put this into practice in your life. The homework last week was to ask yourself this question: what would you like healed in your life? And then to diligently work throughout the week in mind with what you would like to experience. Now, that's the thing. I was inviting us all to look at what we want to experience, what we can experience. What do you want and why? And our tendency in mind is to move to what we don't want, right? And so what I was inviting us all to do is let go of the ideas of what we don't want and keep bringing our minds to what is it I do want to experience, to catch ourselves in that and train ourselves away from the thoughts of what we don't want. So, and I said, and if you mess up, it's okay, don't beat yourself up. Just reflect. Say, as I said last week, all right, I see the negative thought. I see you. There it is. I see you. I recognize you. But I'm going to choose to focus on something else. And it takes practice. So tell me, how did the practice go for you?
Well, I have to say, Jonathan, to be quite honest, I love, love, love that every week you give us these questions to just ponder, and they're like seeds in our hearts. And I am so grateful for that. And even when I'm not here, I am at home in my living room taking notes and dancing and singing. So just know that, there's a lot more people here than there really are here. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you.
And so what would I like to experience and why? So all week long, this has just been such a wonderful thing for me. Like, this is just coming at such a great time in my life. So there are things that I have decided that I do need to change in my life. And so William Summers posted this great thing on Facebook recently. And it said, if you're not happy where you are, move. You're not a tree. And I just love that. And what it said to me was that if I'm not happy with what I am, two things. First of all, what is there to be happy about right here and now? Because there's always something that you can see that's going to light you up. And the second thing is what do I need to do right now? What's my next action step that I need to take to get to that happiness that I'm looking for? I was raised in Queens, outside of New York City, and when I go for a walk in this neighborhood now that I live in, and I look up and I see the beauty of the Rincon Mountains. A few nights ago, my husband and I were walking at night, and the full moon was rising, and just coming out of the Rincons as we were walking to the east, and I was just like, stop, this is just gorgeous. Let's just breathe this in. And then I look at the beauty of the Catalinas every morning, and I think, oh my God, I'm from Queens. We had no vista at all, okay? And did I ever imagine that I would be here in this beauty? No. I mean, I love John Denver, so that was partly what brought me west, but really. And so I just think that whatever we want in this life, it's waiting for us. And what do we need to get there? So the questions that I ask myself is, am I aligned with the divine? And to find that answer for me, I look within and say, how am I feeling? Am I doing this with a joyful heart, with something that really lights me up and I'm excited about? Then I am good to go. Me and the divine, we're tight. But if I look within and say, oh, I'm feeling a little resentment, I don't want to do this, but somebody asked me to, and I said, okay, so how do I need to shift that? I need to get into right alignment. So what about what I'm doing am I grateful for? Am I grateful for being of service? Am I grateful for interacting with people and engaging with this phenomenal community that is here? That you can just feel the love when you come into this room, and you can feel the love even in your living room. I mean, you just feel the love coming to you. And so I think we're all in the right place where we need to be. And what we're waiting for will be there. And what do we need to do to get there? That's the questions that I ask myself and that I sit with in terms of getting me to where I want to be.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. Isn't that magnificent? Thank you so much, Kathy, for sharing today. I always love to hear how people are putting it into practice. So blessings to you and bravo. Yes. Yeah. Choosing to focus on this right here, that we are in this moment and we can choose to let it be a moment of love. We can choose to let it be a moment of peace, which does bring me now to the peace candle, which we're honoring in a different way for the next several weeks. In fact, between now, today, and April 3rd, we're going to be honoring the peace candle in a different way. I'm going to invite to the stage Jerry Stratemeyer, who is going to talk to us a little bit about what today is and why we're shifting things in our service a little bit for the next a couple months, actually. Jerry is our peacekeeper today. And we have a group of people who have devoted themselves to being peacekeepers who are going to provide some insight and inspiration each week as part of the Season for Nonviolence. The Season for Nonviolence is part of the Association for Global New Thought, one of their practices. And we've decided to adopt it here in our community this year. So please give a warm welcome to Jerry Stratemeyer.
Hi. Good morning, everybody. Hey, let's imagine this. Everyone, everywhere, people of every race, every color, every faith, every ability level, every body type, every age, every gender, every nationality, and on down the list, living together truly in peace, loving each other, seeing the light in each other. I know this is possible, no matter what you see out there right now. And since our imagination is creative, the more people who imagine this, one heart, one home, one community at a time, it's possible. Let's keep imagining it. As we open the 2022 Season for Nonviolence today, I want to say a few words first about nonviolence itself. Nonviolence does mean peace in the sense of people and nations not using violence to resolve their conflicts. But more importantly, nonviolence is a way of living that is anchored in love in its many forms of expression. And also it is the path to peace. So it is not just peace, it's also the path to peace. Love only, I've heard that someplace. We'll focus on just a few practices with the intent that we may each become part of the solution to the unrest we see around us, which upsets me. I bet it upsets you too. Civil rights leader Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King taught his followers to reject all thought of revenge, aggression, retaliation, and the like, period. He taught that nonviolence means avoiding not only external violence, but also any kind of internal violence of the spirit. That's where our work is. Influenced by India's Mahatma Gandhi, he taught that love was the most powerful way to meet his true social justice goals. You not only refuse to shoot someone, he says, you refuse to hate them, no matter what they do. His goal was to fight injustice and unfairness, not people. And even to befriend his opponent whenever it was possible. Arun Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi's grandson and co-founder of the Season for Nonviolence, says, "Nonviolence is not just a state of being where violence is absent or invisible. It's a conscious, active effort not to harm anyone, morally, spiritually, physically, mentally, economically, socially, or any other way. The only hope of transforming the world from the tsunami of violence we see," he said, "is for each of us to become the change we wish to see in the world. That is, for each of us to learn to practice nonviolence in thought as well as word and deed." On each Sunday between now and April 4th, we'll focus on one aspect of nonviolence taken from the work of the Seasons for Nonviolence Task Force. And our focus for today is courage. I will share a few quotes, and then we'll move into our affirmation time. And finally, we will share this week's peace practice. I have two quotes for you today. The first one comes from Dr. King. It says, "The time is always right to do what is right." It was 1964, and he was rallying discouraged college students into action after the Civil Rights Act had been signed into law, but the bloody struggle, I'm going too fast for me. The bloody struggle for voting rights was still continuing. And I'm laughing because it's still continuing to this day. Okay, so the time is always right to do what is right, but sometimes fear holds us back, doesn't it? We will likely not face an angry mob, but confronting a boss who tells a racist joke or discriminates in hiring, well, that can also be uncomfortable. So can apologizing for talking about that beside said boss's back and creating a hassle. Or admitting to your teenager that you were wrong to overreact to them. So quote number 2 comes from Nelson Mandela, talking about his struggle to end apartheid in South Africa by cooperating with President de Klerk. He said, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." I'm standing here this morning in front of you. Triumph. Yay, Jerry. Okay, now it's time for our affirmation. I'm going to say this week's affirmation out loud myself, and I invite you to really hear the words. Following that, we will all speak the affirmation together a couple times as a community. Ready? This week's affirmation is, "I know I am divine spirit, always courageous and always guided for good." Now let's speak those words together. I know I'm divine spirit, always courageous and always guided for good. Let's say it one final time, after which we'll begin our peace practice for the week. I know I am divine spirit, always courageous and always guided for good. Remember that peace begins within each one of us. I invite you to place one hand over your heart and allow a gentle Mona Lisa smile on your face. Focusing your awareness on your heart chakra, take 3 deep breaths. Ask your inner guidance, what can I do to promote nonviolence, non-aggression in my own heart, in my own thoughts? What holds me back? How can I overcome that? Next, ask what can I do to promote nonviolence in my life, my home life, my work life, other parts of my life. And finally ask, what can I do to promote nonviolence in my community? To conclude this part of today's service, I will reshare our affirmation. I invite you to keep your hand over your heart with that little smile, and I promise that has a function. I know I am divine spirit, always courageous, and always, always guided for good. So it is.
God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am, God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
Father, Mother God, with overflowing gratitude, we acknowledge and celebrate our beautiful, unique oneness within our eachness, with the universal allness of God, of love. In faith, I affirm for each of us that there is only one power, one divine allness of God. At the core of everything, I am God's expression of divinity. I am light in the infinite light of God, and I illuminate this experience. I affirm that I am love in the limitless love of God, and love is my experience. I am peace in the infinite peace of God, and my presence in a consciousness of peace will bring peace in this world. And I easily enter into this awareness of allness and allow it to move in magnificent ways. With gratitude, I trust, believe, accept, and know that these words released into the perfection of Source return to me fully formed. And so it is. Amen.
God is,
I am
right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Anna. And thank you, Sue. Sue Craik, who is our prayer chaplain of the day. We're grateful to have you here. And she also has a sacred reading that she is going to offer today.
Thank you. The reading this morning comes from the book Practical Metaphysics by Eric Butterworth. And there's a beautiful passage about how we are unique in our eachness, in an expression of God's allness. And Eric Butterworth says, at the foundation of you, your life, and your experience is the wholeness of the universal process. It's expressing as you. And just think of yourself in a moment as being a central point of focus of light, because you are a point of light in the infinite light of God. You are an expression of love in the infinite, limitless love of God. Let the universe's creative process come into living experience through you, right here where you are. Remember, wherever you are, the allness of God is present because you are present. You are always and in all ways an eachness in the allness of God. Namaste.
Thank you, thank you. Today it's just feeling like butter. I'm always grateful for, the musical talent that we have in our community, and sharing with us today. You've already heard her once, but she's going to share another magnificent song. Please welcome Anna Mello.
It's a beautiful song written by Janice Stanfield and Megan McDonough.
We cannot change the world we see till change begins in you and me. We change the world around us when the change begins within. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Cannot change the world we see till change begins in you and me. Change the world around us when the change begins within. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Listen in the willow tree is strength and flexibility. When nothing seems to go my way, it's time to learn to sway. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Patiently, courageously, be the change you wish to see. Everybody's gonna sing with me. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Let me hear you. Let the change begin. Woo-hoo. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Yeah, yeah. Let the change begin. Woo-hoo. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. Let the change begin within. Well, you've intuited what I was going to talk about today. In fact, everything is an intuition of what I'm going to talk about. There are no mistakes. Everybody always it all works. It all always works. It all always works. Do you believe that? Well, that was resounding, wasn't it? It was better than even some of the questions I ask sometimes, and people are like, I don't know. No, it's good. The change always begins with him. So we've had 5 Sundays this month, right? This is the 5th Sunday of January, the final Sunday of the month. And this month, our theme, our focus has been faith, one of the 12 powers, as Charles Fillmore basically here's the thing. He didn't create the 12 powers. He kind of synthesized them into a book. And so we're looking at the 12 powers each month. This month, it's been faith. And I want to start off with, as I often do, I want to start off with a question. The question is this: how have you been conditioned to see the world? How have you been conditioned to see the world? Just a good question for contemplation, because sometimes I think we could do a little bit better with questioning our conditioning. Part of our journey, the journey for many, and I often see this in my role here, and not just here at Unity, but in my life as a minister. Because, the thing is, people find out you're a minister, and they're like, well, let me tell you about all the things in my life that I need spiritual guidance on. And I'm like, yes, I'm a minister 24/7. I'm a minister in every aspect of my life. Wherever I go, I'm a minister. And that's okay. That's the life I've chosen, and I am grateful for that. But do you ever think about, I'm a surgeon? Well, let me tell you about the things that I need to have changed in my body. Can you imagine if somebody said that? I'm a nurse, right? Let me tell you about all the things that I have to tell you. Yeah. So part of our journey is moving from fear to faith. Always working to move from fear to faith. We can look at the circumstances of the world. We can look at all the circumstances of the world and allow ourselves to devolve into fear. And I do mean devolve into fear. But I would like for us to really take charge of our lives and start to evolve into faith. Because here's the thing. If you are devolving, that is moving in the direction of oblivion. If you are evolving, you are opening yourself up as the infinite. Moving from fear to faith is a spiritual journey, and it is an inner journey. It is finding that which is within. And perhaps trusting it a little more, and a little more, and a little more. When we engage in our spiritual work, and that is when we are actively turning our attention to the inner life, seeking within. What I have found, and I'm using we, but I'm going to talk about me just a moment, because what I have found in that journey is that what I am thinking, what I am believing, and what I am feeling within is reflected in my world, in my experience, in my circumstances, no matter what, all the time. And it never ceases to amaze me. Because here's the thing. If I have an inner dialogue that is defeatist, then what I will experience in the world is a defeatist experience of the world. And so the journey is moving from that to faith, to know that all is well. Stephen Covey offered this quote: "We see the world not as it is, but as we are, or as we are conditioned to see it." And so that goes back to my initial question. How have I become conditioned to see the world? Do I give more weight to fear, or do I give more weight to faith? It's a choice. It's a choice. A lot of people don't think it's a choice, but it's a choice. In class on Wednesday night, we talked a lot about these choices. Now, the lesson that we read in Lessons in Truth was, ready? The title of this lesson always makes me laugh. The lesson is this: bondage or liberty? Which? Bondage or liberty? Which? What are you going to choose today? Because we get to choose if we are living in bondage or living in liberty. The conditioned mind is actually a form of bondage. The conditioned mind is a form of bondage. And until we question the conditioning and perhaps change our mind about the conditioning that is not working for us, we will continue to be bound in that which is not working for us. Now, the thing about conditioning, and the thing about this study that we're engaged in, and the thing that one of the primary topics of this conversation on Wednesday night was to basically say, you make a choice, you are bound by that choice. And we're always making choices. We actually can't live a bondage-free life. It's asking yourself the question, what am I allowing myself to be bound by? Am I being bound by love, or am I being bound by fear? Because your life will unfold accordingly. We envelop ourselves in conditioning, right? Oh. Feels comfortable. Feels so good. Even the stuff that we don't really want to experience, sometimes we wrap ourselves up in it because it's like, oh, I'm so used to this. I'm so used to not feeling good that it feels good. I've had that experience in my life. Here's the thing, comfort never creates. Comfort never creates. When we are bound within our comfort zone, we are not engaging the creative spirit that is the essence of our being. And this takes me to my Saturday workshop that started yesterday. Because one of the big topics yesterday was to say, be willing to move and press against your comfort zones. It is an uncomfortable thing to create. But when you do, oh, what a magnificent thing unfolds. And so I have a group of artists who are actively pushing against their comfort zones on Saturday. So we find comfort in the known, or our perception of the known. We tend to spend a lot of time in the past because that is what is known. We spend a lot of time in the past. In that past idea is comfort, but we are not ever bound by our past, except to the degree that we allow ourselves to be bound by our past. The more we root ourselves in past paradigms, the more we condition and continue to condition our mind. Yet when we find that space within to let go of past conditioning, I think what we find is that each and every one of us is infinite potential. Infinite potential. Infinite possibility, infinite probability. We find infinite freedom in what can be by not defining it by what was. We are constantly becoming more of ourselves. And what is it that we are becoming? Well, our infinite selves are God. We are God. We are divine. We are that infinite power and presence. Can you root yourself wholly in that frame of mind, to allow that to become your conditioning? We have a tendency to let that fear rule. But we're not afraid of the unknown. We're not afraid of the unknown. What we are afraid of is letting go of what is known. That is not fear of the unknown. It's fear of letting go. It's fear of not feeling like you have a safety net, but you always, always can rely on spirit, the infinite inner nature that is you. There's a lesson that I learned many years ago. My sister and brother-in-law they used to do this thing. They used to have a party every summer in June, end of June. They called it the pre-monsoonal. My brother-in-law is in the room, and he does not know that I'm talking about this today. I'm not calling you out, though. Here's what I loved. So I lived in California when they were doing this, and so I think I only made it to the pre-monsoonal once. But boy, what a party. Because, they were young parents, and they brought all of their friends who had young children, and it was like the kids would go out in the back. And now my sister and brother-in-law at the time at the house they were living in, they had this jungle gym set, like swings and things and all this stuff, right? And at the pre-monsoonal party, they would like get everything, they would get the water hose going and they'd get everything kind of muddy, and all the kids would be out there just going for it, just woo, yeah, right? No fear. Gosh, we should be like children. No fear. They would just keep going and swinging and get muddy and just dance in the fake rain from, and that was the whole thing, was like, we're going to create the fake rain so that we can draw to the desert the real rain. Something really lovely about that. I loved that experience, and it was a great teacher for me to say, why am I always living in fear? Where did I learn that I should not be as free as those children? Something taught me that, but do I have a willingness today to let it go? What can we do? How do we do that? You know what? Here's how we do it. We remember who we are. When we remember who we are, how can we be rooted in anything other than faith? How can we be rooted in anything other than love? What is there to fear when we remember who we are and understand that the core of who we are, that infinite power and presence, that spirit, that God is the same that we see in the faces of every single person we encounter? There is nothing to fear in that. If we truly believe, as we teach, that there is only good, and a lot of people have a problem with us saying that, but there is only good, that there is only God, then what have we to fear? I say nothing. The spiritual journey is rooted in the promise of some greater experience or expression. A lot of people call it enlightenment. That's one word that is used. But here's the thing. Why do you show up here on a Sunday? That's a rhetorical question. It might be for the coffee. Dawn makes a good pot of coffee. It might be for the music. It might be for the message. Ultimately, I think we show up in these kinds of experiences because it is tapping into that within us that knows there is some greater expression and experience available to be had. And we want to let go of everything that stands in the way. There is that something greater in each of us than we have ever been conditioned to believe. In the Wednesday class, we're reading a book called Discover the Power Within You by Eric Butterworth. I love the writings of the Fillmores. I love Emily Cady. I love many of the luminaries in Unity and in the New Thought movement. Eric Butterworth is my favorite. I love his writing style and how he makes it so approachable. Spirituality can be really hard, right? Eric Butterworth makes it so easy as far as I'm concerned. But he, in the prologue, it's a one-page prologue, he offers a story in this book that we're studying. And I'm going to paraphrase the story because I could read the whole thing, but it would get too long. There was a time when all humans were gods. This is a Hindu tradition. There was a time when all humans were gods, but they abused their divinity. And so Brahma, the chief god, took away humanity's divinity and hid it. He wanted to hide it where they would never find it. And so he called to him a council with all the lesser gods to consider the question of where to hide humanity's divinity. We could hide it deep in the earth. No. They will dig down and they will find it. We can hide it in the ocean. No, they will learn to dive the deepest waters. We can take it to the top of a mountain. No, they will eventually climb. The council considered, because they didn't know where. Any place they could consider it being hidden, what they knew is that humanity would eventually find it. Then Brahma had a thought. Here's what we'll do. We'll hide it deep down within them. They will never think to look for it there. And that's the way we tend to live our lives. We tend to think coming to church on a Sunday is going to be the thing that helps us find God. But here's the thing. What I would love to do some Sunday is put a mirror in each of your seats, so that when you sit down, you can take a look at the mirror, and I can say, look in the mirror, there's God. The legend does conclude that humanity kept going up and down, climbing, digging, exploring, searching for something that is already within, right here, right where we are. And that's what led me to the title of today's message. Y'all get the Friday email? How many of you know Latin? Nobody knows? A little bit. The title of today's message is a Latin phrase. It's translated. It translates. I will translate it for you. It's a quote of Persius, who was a Roman poet and satirist. Ne te Quaesiveris extra. I don't speak Latin, so if I'm saying it wrong, too bad. Close. Ne te Quaesiveris extra. What that means is, do not seek for anything outside the self. Do not seek for anything outside the self. Now, there's an irony. I came across this phrase as it is the first line to open Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay on self-reliance. So he writes an entire essay on self-reliance, but opens it with somebody else's words. Think about that. And I actually really did think about that when I was studying Emerson. I thought, how do I reconcile that he's talking about self-reliance, but I'm going to use this other person's words? How do I balance that in my own life? And the thing is, find balance. That's the key, find balance. One of the great difficulties in living this life is feeling like we are alone. And sometimes if we are rooted in self-reliance, we can start to feel lonely and alone. We can find the balance and welcome the words of other people, which is why I'm loving that I get to hear the voices of different people in our community every week, because I never wanted this ministry to be only about what I have to say as a minister. That's ridiculous. You all have minds, you all have hearts, you all have thought, and you should all be speaking up and making these explorations in their spiritual substance that is the core of who you are. And so I can say, yes, I will take and accept these words of Persius, ne te Quaesiveris extra, and I can adopt them in my own life and root it in a sense of self-reliance. And New Thought teachings, the teachings of unity, the philosophy, the principles, reinforce this idea that we should be on the journey. We should always be on the journey. Never let it be limited by anything in the world of form. None of us is in this life alone. And so seek with your neighbor. Deepen with your community. When we seek within, what I believe and what I have found is that we find the interconnected nature. We find that which connects us. We deepen into that sense of wholeness. We remember who we are. And isn't that ultimately why we show up here on a Sunday? That's why I think we really show up here on a Sunday. Connection. Connection. Unconditional love and support is what kept me in a spiritual community when I was first introduced to this thing called spiritual community in this philosophy. And while we encourage an inner journey, we absolutely encourage an inner journey, I'm going to encourage us all to find balance with the understanding that we are never without, because we are part of something more. Wholeness. So hop on that jungle gym of life. Let go of the fear that holds you back. Let the inward discovery of your God self, your God essence, translate into an outward expression free of fear. Because what have you to fear when you know who you are? Dance like nobody's watching. You ever hear that? I'm going to change it up. Live life like nobody's watching. Live your entire life like nobody's watching, nobody's judging, nobody's offering an opinion, and live free of fear. You are worth it, and so it is. Namaste. Yes. Oh, I know who's bringing their homework next week. Here's the homework for next week. Take the journey inward. Take the journey inward. Each day, there's a series of questions I would like you to ask yourself every single day when you wake up. And these will be in the email. I sent an email to Tyler to make sure that these specific questions are in the email that will go out tomorrow. Number 1, what is one thing I definitely believe? 2, why do I believe it? 3, does it serve me to continue believing it? 4, if I don't wish to continue in this belief, what can I replace it with? What is one thing I definitely believe? Why do I believe it? Does it serve me to continue believing it? And if I don't wish to continue in this belief, what can I replace it with? Explore these questions and see what happens. The benediction, this day, we are changing up a little bit. There's a special song that was sort of alluded to in Jerry's presentation today that we wanted to use to open the season for nonviolence. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. I see a tear. I'm going to invite William Summers, Vice President of our Board of Directors, to the stage. Good morning, William.
Good morning, Reverend Jonathan.
Always wonderful to see you. He's going to bring me something. I don't know what it is. I'm going to live in the faith that it's going to be awesome. No fear.
Well, I'm going to go sit down. Well, actually, today I'm going to do something different. Well, which is not different, but
and that differs from any other week.
so we're up here all the time, and it gets time for our giving, and we're always big gratitude for the music, for the minister, all the people that are up here and stuff. And we always hear a generic, you out there that we're grateful for too. But for me personally, it's never really hit right here. So today what I'd like to do that's just a little different, I'd like to take just a few seconds, and if you're comfortable, I would like you to just take a look at the people that are sitting around you, make just quick eye contact, and let them know how grateful you are for everything that's being done in this particular place. And I'm going to look at the people online and let you know how grateful I am for your support for this community. So in a few moments, the basket's going to come around, and I understand that people are going to be dropping something in there. If you're an automatic giver, we have the little cards you can put in. When you put these in, I understand that this is an expression of your gratitude for what's happening here. But if, at least just for one time today, realize that when you put that in, that there's somebody else that's really grateful for what you're doing for Unity of Tucson. Thank you.
Thank you, William. Let's share together our givingness statement as an affirmation of this practice. I share this gift with love, conscious of the inner presence as the lavish source and substance of my supply. I am rooted in the assurance that this gift blesses Unity of Tucson, and I trust in its ever-present circulation, knowing its blessings return to me. And so it is. Let's dance. You ready? Here we go. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. indeed grateful to each and every one of you, and just let's know that what has been collected here today is a blessing, not to just this community, but to the entire world, for it is part of an infinite circulation of flow that we are participating in, and I am deeply grateful for that. A couple of things that are coming up. So we have a class going on Wednesdays right now. There is another class that will start March 23rd on Wednesday evenings. It is the 12 Powers. So we started off with faith this month. We're going to be going through the 12 Powers this entire year. But you can learn what all the 12 powers are by participating in this class. Registration is now open online. You can also register in the bookstore. Check out our bookstore. This class will be facilitated by Susan Smith, who is now officially a member of our community as a licensed Unity teacher, and I'm super excited for that, yes. Yes. The Skills for Higher Awareness workshop continues on Thursdays at 10 a.m. That is facilitated by our own Christina Gilman, so check that out. If you have questions about that, do see Christina. She is the lovely woman sitting there with the beautiful red scarf. Yes, you can ask her any questions about that workshop. Also, today is the day. We are taking sign-ups for choir today. The choir sign-up sheet, if you're here, there is a sheet in the foyer that you can fill out. It's on the table out there. If you are online, if you go to unitytucson.com, you can scroll down the page a little bit. There's a button there that says sign up for choir. Just fill out the information. It's just so we have a contact for you, name, phone number, and email, so that we can coordinate rehearsal times. So sign-ups start today. Sign up today, and we will get the information out to you as soon as we start scheduling the rehearsals. And I'm super excited about this. The choir will make its premiere. The plan is the choir will make its premiere on Easter Sunday. Yes. Save the date, of course. The annual general meeting is February 20th, 2022. It will happen immediately after service. It is your opportunity to learn about the state of the church and also participate in some of the decision-making for the church. Know where we have been and know where we plan to go. Looking forward to that. I haven't seen her come in yet, but usually Chris and the children would be coming in. I'm sure they're on their way, but I do want to say that we are still looking for volunteers to support the youth program. If you are willing to step in and serve in support of the youth program on Sundays. It's not every Sunday, and the more people we have, the fewer Sundays that you actually are called upon. We would love to have your support in teaching our youth. And really what we're looking to teach them is self-reliance, self-respect, self-esteem. That's really what it boils down to for me. So if you're interested in that, you can email yfm@unitytucson.com. You can fill out the sign-up sheet in the lobby, and we will be in touch with you about all of that. Our prayer chaplains today, of course, are Sue Craik. There she is. There's Sue, and also Deborah Walker is our other prayer chaplain of the day. If you are in need of a few moments of prayer following service, you can see either one of them. They will stay here in the sanctuary. There is also a prayer box in the lobby. If you have a prayer request that you would feel more comfortable writing out on a piece of paper and having sent to our entire prayer team, go ahead and take advantage of that. I want to say thank you to every single person who made today the exquisite fun experience it is. I want to start off by saying thank you to our entire tech crew, Wally, Don, Greg, for your service. Grateful for them, because if it weren't for them, you wouldn't see me or hear me, because the lights and the microphone would be off. And yet, as I say that, I think you would still be able to hear me. I want to say thank you to Kathy Brandon, Jerry Stratemeyer, and Sue Craik for your offerings today. Thank you so much. Thank you to William as well for stepping in and helping us out with our collection today. I want to say thank you to, and there's a reason that I'm going to you first. I want to say thank you to Anna Mello, our magnificent guest musician today. And I want to say thank you to this incredible band. In particular today, there is something that I would like to do, which is honor Linda Ackerman and let you know that these flowers are a gift to you from this community for all the years of service, and our gratitude to you for leading this music program so magnificently. You are a blessing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As we complete our time here today, please share with me the words of this option for our closing prayer. I am infinite light. I am infinite love. I am infinite power. I am infinite presence. Wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. And so it is. Amen. Feel free to stand and dance our final closing song. If you think there's nothing new under the sun, if it's possible, it's already been done. If you think the stage has all been set, think again. You ain't seen nothing yet. The sun will come up with a wave of your